watching The Modern Mompreneur, and today I'm joined by Mimi Darmstadter, who is an executive and career transition coach. Hi, Mimi.
Hi, Anjali.
Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
Today we're going to be talking about one of Mimi's specialties, which is that whole what's next phenomenon. Mom's trying to figure out what you should do next in your career, or maybe it's staying at home. And Mimi, your first tip is around looking at your values. What would you say is important around that?
Right. So we all have different values, and there's no right or wrong in values. But it's really important to pay attention to what's important to you. So for me, my value when I decided to change my career was around flexibility. I needed a profession that was going to feed me emotionally and, financially, but also that was going to really offer me flexibility. Some moms want achievement. Some moms want money. It really doesn't matter as long as you're really clear on what your values are.
Great. And then your second tip is around looking at your skill set and also your strengths to align with those values.
Right.
What's the difference between skills and strengths, and what should moms be looking for?
Sure. So skills are the things that you're good at, but you don't necessarily like to do. Strengths are the things that you're good at, but you love to do. And what I tell people who are in transition is that it's really important to make sure that what you're doing at least leverages some of your strengths. Because we don't want to be in professions that we're really good at, but that we don't enjoy doing the work.
Right. And it's finding the balance between both, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, no job is going to be perfect. No transition is going to be perfect. But make sure that the work that you're doing really leverages some of those things that you're really good at and that you really love to do.
So that you enjoy what you're doing.
Exactly. Exactly.
Now, what would you say are a couple of those first steps that people should do when they are considering a career transition?
Okay. So, that those first steps really are after the big deep breath. Okay, I'm going to do this. Now what do I do next? And what I suggest is that people go on a retreat. And they really take themselves away from it all. It's, the Calgon moment where you take the big bath, but it's a retreat. And you really think about, okay, what is this all about? Who am I in this? What do I want to do? And you really think alone about what this is going to look like in the biggest, broadest, prettiest way. And then you tell someone. It can be your partner. It can be your best friend. Maybe it's even your children. But you just start to tell that story so that you're not the only one who owns it, and then you're starting to build in accountability. And then you create a vision board that is the picture of what you've been thinking about and talking about, so that you have some touchstone for all those ideas that are swimming in your head.
And through all of those steps, it helps you to clarify what it is that you should be doing next.
Right, and it grounds you. It just says, this is who I am, or this is who I want to be.
And for the vision board, would you say that's more of your short-term vision or your long-term, a little bit of both?
It can be either. And just make sure that before you start it, you know what you're doing. But it can be, okay, what's my life going to look like my work life going to look like over the next year? Or what is it going to look like over the next 5 years? And you make sure that you populate it with those pictures and those images and those words and those ideas that really articulate who you want to be in this next work life.
And your fourth tip is around taking a pulse every so often and checking in.
Right. So, we get really caught up in the excitement and the energy and the hard work that a transition requires. And we don't sometimes pay attention to how we're doing in all of that. So I just encourage moms everywhere to really listen to their minds, their emotions, their bodies, to see how they're doing. Sometimes we don't pay attention to the warning signs that things aren't going as well as we like to think. And paying attention to those warning signs and course correcting is really important in long-term success and satisfaction.
Thanks, Mimi.
Sure.
Would love to hear from all of you moms out there on your career moves or what you have done to determine your next step. And stay tuned next for our Mompreneur Minute. And now it's time for our Mompreneur Minute, where I'll ask Mimi a series of lightning round questions related to mompreneurism. Mimi, what have you found effective to balance those challenging worlds of entrepreneurism and motherhood?
Okay, so there's one little tool that I use. It goes back many years, but it still works for me. It was introduced by Stephen Covey. It's the time management matrix. And it basically forces you to make determination about what's urgent and what's important in the work that you're doing. Not everything is urgent every day, and not everything is important every day. And what Covey does is creates this little matrix that allows you to weigh what's urgent with what's important. and sort of organize your time that way.
A
And it
perfect
works
way-
beautifully.
A perfect way to figure out the balance between
Yes.
the two.
Yes.
Excellent. Are there any other tips, tools, resources, apps, websites, books that you would recommend other mompreneurs?
Yeah, I mean, there's a book that I really like for moms who are in transition in and out of work in any shape or form, which is called Working Identity. It's by Hermione Ibarra, and it's just it really spoke to me in terms of women who are in questions about what they want to do next and how they begin to answer that question in a way that works for them.
Fits very well with our conversation today.
Yeah.
And now it's time for our mompreneur mantra, or the one piece of advice that Mimi would give to all of you mompreneurs out there. What would you say your mantra is?
Time is your friend. When I started my own business, I was in such a rush that I thought everything had to be done yesterday, and that if it didn't, I would fail. And I realized, looking back 5 years now, that I really had time, and that time can really be a help to you when you're trying to figure out what it is that you need to do.
Time and patience.
Right.
Thank you to Mimi Darmstadter, executive coach. Would love to hear from you on your thoughts about our conversation today. And if you want more tips on parenting, lifestyle, and entrepreneurism, please subscribe to my channel or follow my blog at themodernmompreneur.com.